Hi, good afternoon, everybody. My name's Anthony. I'm here with Leicester College. Tonight, we're going to talk to you a little bit about SEND parent carer information for enrolment. So if your child is coming to Leicester College in September, has education, health and care plan, or SEND needs, is care experienced, or is a young carer themselves, we're going to talk a little bit tonight about some of the advice, support, guidance, and facilities in the college that are going to be able to help you when you come over to us. So during the time of study, we've got great opportunities. We're going to meet a lot of the team that are going to talk through some of those this evening. We're going to have time to answer any questions that you might have. We may not be able to answer them straight away, but please stick around to the end because there will be time for frequently asked questions and live questions then. So you'll be able to ask them directly to the members of the team and get the answers. So just a brief on what we're going to be covering today. We're going to have additional learning support. So that's our tailored help for academic success. We're going to talk a little bit about the careers advice and guidance that's going to be available to students joining us. We're going to talk about some of the welfare services, some of the admissions policies, exams arrangement, everything that you could possibly need to know, whether you're a student or whether you're a parent or carer of any student. This is going to be the one-stop shop, hopefully, for all the information you need. So wellbeing support as well. We're also going to include a little bit on promoting mental health and resilience. Leicester College has got some of the best support in all of FE and colleges in Leicester, so we really want this opportunity to showcase that. So first up, we're going to talk a little bit about, here we go, just to break it down for you. We're going to go in orders here. So we've got, like I say, a couple of specialists that are going to be on hand to give us the full breakdown of what it is that we offer, and they will be available to answer questions at the end as well. So hopefully you're going to get everything answered that you need today. So first on the agenda, we have got our additional learning support. So the additional learning support team is a massive part of our students' daily life in the college. We've got huge support available across all of our campuses. I'm going to introduce now Annie, who's going to talk to you a little bit more about exactly what it is we have on offer. So hi, Annie, take it away.
Hiya. Right. So with additional learning support, the majority of support that you get in the college will be via the teacher support in class using inclusive teaching practices. But we do work closely with the teaching areas and the different curriculum areas to share information and offer guidance. If you do have an EHCP, then we do follow the local authority consultation process. And for those students who are coming to us, we will contact you to discuss support and do a support plan for you in preparation for coming to college. For other students, so everyone who's declared a learning difficulty or a disability on their application, we will write to you via email, and it is the email you give, the student's email you give on your application form. So do check that out. And in that email, it will give you what you can see on screen now, which is a QR code, which links you into our referral form, and also our contact email, which is ALS. So basically, if you want to pass on some information about your support needs, or you want to be contacted, then do fill in the referral form. If you've got queries about support and stuff, you can actually email us directly to give us those questions. Once you've actually entered the form, you'll be able to tick on there if you want to be directly contacted as well. So if you tick that you want to be directly contacted by us, we will phone you and arrange a meeting. So we might do that via a phone meeting or a Teams meeting or an in-person meeting, depending what works best for you. And then basically we'll meet with you to actually have an assessment. So what happens during that? So the assessment, basically during that time, we will actually talk about what your needs are, what difficulties you have. We will look at identifying tutor and student strategies and share those with the tutors as well. We will talk to you about ways of being more independent in your studies as well. So because the whole aim of our ALS support is to actually move you towards your independence and build your skills. So in that we might be suggesting assistive technology such as reader pens, screen readers, speech to text. We will discuss, if you need it, some additional learning support interventions as well. So that might take the form of some in-class support. It could be some study skills outside the classroom. It could be just a one-off workshop, or it might be some check-in support, that depending on what your needs are. So we'll discuss that with you on a one-to-one basis. And then when we put that support in place, it will be a block of support. So we do it half-termly. At the end of each half-term, we will do a review of support. We'll see in that review whether you need support extending a bit further, because you're still working on building those skills. And towards those targets we've set you for those skills. We might actually change the type of support you're getting, because you might need a different type of support instead. We could look at reducing or ending the support, depending on where you are in terms of your ability to grasp those skills that we're working with you on. And we also make sure we do share anything with teaching staff as well. So there's things that work really well that we've put in place for you. We'll make sure teaching staff know about it as well. So you can refer yourself at any point during the academic year. So you can do it now. So you can contact you over the summer. If you don't think you need support yet, but when you start college, you need some support, you can just use the QR code and get to the form and complete that. And we'll contact you during the academic year as well. So it's a bit more fluid. You don't have to do it before you start. Some people don't know if they're going to struggle or not until after they get into college. When you're at college as well, just so you're aware that teaching staff can also refer to us if they identify students who are struggling with their studies. So that's another way that you might get support, access to support at college from our team. And again, just to remind you, basically that QR code is a way to get to the form, and you can also send queries via the email address too. And that's my quick summary.
Okay, Annie, thank you for that. It's worth me just mentioning to everybody watching on the live stream now that we will from time to time have contact addresses and QR codes up on the screen. If you're unable to access them, or if we go through a little bit too quickly, please don't worry. As soon as the live stream is finished, it will be available on YouTube for you to watch again. So you'll be able to just pause it, grab a hold of it, and I will try and share them again all at the end of this presentation. So thank you again, Annie, that was brilliant. So next we're going to talk, excuse me, next we're going to be talking a little bit about exam arrangements. Now, this is something that quite frequently we do get questions on, and answering the questions today, I'm going to bring in my colleague Gail, who's hopefully going to be able to put some of the most common questions into focus and give you some responses there. So Gail, thank you. Take it away for me.
Hi, thank you, Anthony. Hi, so my name's Gail. I'm the Head of Inclusion at Leicester College, and I oversee the Additional Learning Support team. I'm standing in for my manager, Joe, today. So if there are any questions that are too technical that I can't answer, I will ask my colleague, Joe, to come back to you. So I'm going to be talking briefly about exam access arrangements. So if your young person comes to the college and they need to take any exams or have any assessments, it may be that they require exam access arrangements. So what are they? So access arrangements allow students with specific needs to access their exams or their assessment. Not all students with additional needs will require access arrangements, but if you feel that your young person does require access arrangements, it's really important that we know in good time. We have been informed by the local authority that Form 8s and Form 9s are going to be sent to parents. So if you do receive arrangements already at school and you're coming to college and you get that notification from the SENCO and the local authority, please let us know, because the sooner we know, the sooner we can try and get arrangements in place. You can see on the second half of that slide, there's an email address. So that's Joe Keogh at Leicester College. If your child does have a Form 8 or a Form 9 at school, ask your SENCO to share a digital copy with us, or if they send it to you, you can share it with us. So basically, the process at college is that a student can tell us when they enroll that they have had exam arrangements at school. If they don't tell us at the point of admission, they can tell us when they've actually come into college, they can tell us via their teacher, or they can speak to one of the teams, such as Annie. Teachers must provide evidence to show that access arrangements are needed in college. So regardless of if you had arrangements at school, your teacher, while you're at college, must be able to show an evidence, because it's a legal document and an official requirement, that you still need those arrangements at college. So obviously you're in a transition phase, and it may be that some arrangements that you had previously, you don't need them anymore. So we do really need to check that. So as I've said, if your child has had a Form 8 or a Form 9 at school, please ask your SENCO to share the details with us. If not, we can assess and determine need or access arrangements while at college. So conversely, if your young person didn't have any access arrangements previously, but you feel that actually they may need support going forward, then we can have those assessments in college. The main thing is to let us know as soon as possible. And when I'm talking about access arrangements, I'm talking about things like, for example, extra time, or having a reader, or having a scribe, or in the case of some of our deaf students, having a BSL interpreter to support them throughout their assessments or exams. Thank you.
That's great. Thank you, Gail. Again, there's a lot of information on the screen, so I appreciate to everybody that's joined us in the live view. Again, this would all be shared again at the end of the live stream. You'll be able to get a hold of it. So if you have a specific question about any of this, something that's popped up on screen, please add it into the chat. We'll try and answer things as quick as possible. But it's lovely to see there's a lot of people asking questions, so I'll do my best to respond to those for you. So next up, we've got our mental health and wellbeing and mentoring part of the presentation. So I'm going to introduce my colleague Sharon to the call now. Hi, Sharon. There's a couple of slides on this one, and again, appreciate there's a lot of information on there and QR code. So we'll try and keep all these on screen for as long as we can and share them again at the very end of the live stream. So I appreciate your patience with that. Take it away, Sharon.
So first of all, the QR code that you can see on this slide actually covers our mental health and wellbeing, mental health support, counselling and mentoring support. And we will talk a little bit about all of those today. So the mental health team themselves, they actually offer mental health support, and that focuses on understanding what's going on for the young person and finding out ways to manage their own wellbeing. So this might include exploring some coping strategies and learning some practical self-help tools, sometimes also support to access external services if and when needed, and also supporting cross-college referrals if there's a different service that we think might be more beneficial to the young person. So we also offer our counselling service, which is a safe, confidential and non-judgmental space for our students to explore the thoughts and feelings in depth over a series of sessions. These sessions normally are 6 different sessions over 6 weeks, and then there is a review point at the end of that. Students can refer themselves to this service using the QR code, or they can come and talk to us at Leicester College in Student Services, or use the Wellbeing at Leicester College email address just at the bottom there. Thank you. So just following on the wider picture of our support at Leicester College, we also offer our mentoring service, which again is part of the wellbeing support within the college. And we also do focus on our care experienced young people, sometimes known as looked after children. I myself am the looked after child designate, but we do have a fabulous team cross college on all campuses of mentors, and also our mentoring wellbeing mentor officer, who work very closely together to support our care experienced young people. So all of our care experienced young people will have access to a mentor in their curriculum area. So the mentor will make themselves known to them once they enroll at the college and within the induction process. So mentors will work one-to-one with our students, and they provide pastoral support, and they will help to break down barriers to learning. So automatically, as we've explained, the mentor is allocated. The care experienced young people are also entitled to a bursary, which they need to apply for through the Learner Support Fund, again through the Learner Hub. And we'll talk a little bit more about the Learner Hub going forward and how that works. They will also have personal education plan reviews. They will be offered 3 a year, 1 per term. And the idea of these are to follow on from school to make sure that all the professionals, parents and carers and the young person is able to sit around the table, review where their education is going, how they're getting on, if there's any difficulties they might be having, if there's any practical support they might need. And we make sure that we set targets against education and also against anything additional that the young person might want to get involved in. They will work with the student, also creating a wellbeing plan. And again, within that plan, the young person will have control over the objectives that are set and what they want to achieve, and they will be reviewed on a regular basis. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Sharon. That's brilliant. It's also worth me mentioning at this point, to those of you that are joining the call, you're maybe parents of year 10 students and not year 11, you're just trying to get ahead of things a little bit. It's worth mentioning that we do periodically hold a care experience young person event around April sort of time that we invite. We send out invites to schools and they will contact students if they think it will benefit. It's a nice low-key kind of event where students can come in under their own pace, with support, obviously, just come and get a look at the college, maybe speak to some of the careers team, some of the teachers, just ease them into things so they know what to expect. It is a well-attended event, so keep an eye out for that because tickets will go quite quickly. Thank you. So next, I'm going to invite my colleague, Gail, back into the call, just to talk a little bit about some of the careers opportunities and services we have available at the college. So take it away, Gail.
I'm going to be talking about...
Or not.
Hello?
Sorry, I took you out there. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I've got a couple of slides. I'm going to be talking about careers, and then I'm going to be talking about our enrichment offer. So firstly, careers. We've got a fantastic careers team. We've got 8 qualified careers advisors working across the college at our 3 main campuses and our outreaches. The service that we have is free, it's impartial, it's non-judgmental, and you can access that face-to-face or over the phone. So anybody can access the service. So regardless of whether you're actually intending to come to Leicester College, you can still contact the careers service via that QR code that you can see on the screen, and we will give you information and advice about learning opportunities, training opportunities in the Leicester area. So our appointments are available face-to-face and virtually or over the phone, and you're very welcome to come into college with your young person or have a Teams call with your young person if that is something that you would require. So as I said, it's a qualified team. They have really strong knowledge on the local job market, a range of educational options, but also training options and volunteering options as well. We do have within the team a SEND specialist careers advisor. However, all of our advisors are comfortable and confident supporting students with SEND and additional needs. However, just to reiterate, we do actually have SEND specialist careers advisor who is available across our 3 main campuses as well. So we offer support on preparing for employment, preparing for volunteering, CV writing, applications. That is done face-to-face and individually, but we also do lots of group work sessions. We have clubs, we have drop-in sessions. So we do offer some of that advice on a group basis as well as an individual basis. Just also important to note, our careers teams work all year round. So they are available over the summer period. So if you have any questions or concerns and you do want to speak to an advisor, you can use that QR code. You can scan the QR code and get to talk to somebody. As I said, book an appointment, come on into the campus, or we can do something online. Thanks. So one of the other teams that we have on campus is our student enrichment team, or our SET team. So we have lots of opportunities for all of your young people, regardless of their ability and need, in terms of getting involved with the social life of college. So we have various activities outside of the classroom, trips, visits, social clubs, We had a really great deaf club that's been running this year, and we hope to put that on again. We're hoping to have a faith and belief club running next year, and it's really student-led. So we will offer some clubs that we know have been successful in the past, but if you or a young person would like to be involved in a club, but they don't see it, you know, being advertised or being available, they just need to talk to the team, and we will try and accommodate that. We do have social spaces on our 3 main campuses. Some of them are quite small though, unfortunately, but we do have quiet spaces. So if you're a young person would prefer to be in a space that's not too noisy in terms of, you know, lots of stimulation and lots of things going on, we do have quiet spaces around the campuses that we will encourage your young people to access. We do trips, as I said, we do visits. They change each year. It was a really successful trip a couple of weeks ago to Skegness, which everybody really enjoyed. But it's really for your young person yourselves to kind of tell us what your needs are, and we will try and accommodate that. So most students have access to a learning coach and a work placement coordinator. These staff work alongside the teaching staff to support students to get them ready for their next steps. So as I said in my previous slide, that could be volunteering, it could be work, it could be supported internships. So we all work together, although we're in different teams, we do work together to ensure that we're offering a holistic support package. One thing that's new for this year, well, new for the coming year that I'm really excited about is we're hoping to deliver the Duke of Edinburgh Award, Bronze Award next year. So if that's something that your young person might be interested in, or any residentials, or anything that they'd like to get involved in outside of the classroom, please do let us know. Thank you, and that's all from me.
Thank you again, Gail. Okay, so next we're going to look at finance. Now, the amount you pay for education depends on a number of things. So we're going to bring our colleague Zoe into the call here, is hopefully going to make things a little bit more simple, or at least explain away some of the more difficult things to understand. But this is something that many students will ask multiple times about. They'll ask it multiple times throughout the year. You can contact us at any single time you like to get more information on this. If you are unsure, you can reach out to have an independent call with one of our advisors. But hopefully some of the bigger questions are going to be answered by Zoe today. So take it away, Zoe.
Thanks, Anthony, and thanks everyone for joining us at Leicester College. As Anne said, I'm Zoe, I'm the Director of Student Services and Marketing. So I have the pleasure of looking after all of our fantastic support and wellbeing services. So just a little bit about student finance. So we have 2 main funds that we are given by the government each year. It's never enough, but we are given funding to really help support our students who may need help with the cost of coming to college. So we have two main funds. The first one is our 16 to 19 Learner Support Fund. So that's for our younger students, so anyone up to the age of 18, as at the 31st of August this year. Or if they have any HCP, then that stretches to the age of 24. And then we have our adult fund, or our 19 plus fund. And again, that's very simply for students aged 19 or over without an education, health and care plan. So you can see the eligibility criteria there. So either you have a maximum household income of £33,000, and we've kept that that level for another year. We appreciate, you know, the cost of living is really challenging, and so we haven't increased that that threshold to try and help as many students as we possibly can. Or if parents and caregivers have got are in receipt of certain benefits, then they would be eligible for our Learner Support Fund. And just some of the ways that we can help. So we offer a bus pass for the variety of kind of bus companies across Leicester. You have to live 3 miles or more away from the campus to be eligible for that. That's in line with what kind of schools currently offer as well. If your young person is studying a subject where they need uniform or kit, and then we will of that through the Learner Support Fund. We do have some material fees for kind of some specific courses, and again, we will cover that. We have free school meals, or we call them free college meals. And that's loaded on the ID card so that your person can use that within our refectories every day. And also we can cover the cost of childcare as well. So we have nurseries on site, or it can be another childcare provider. Now, I have to say the funds are limited. So it is first come, first served. And we can't guarantee, that we can help everybody. It is the Learner Support Fund is open now, and anybody that's got an application with us should have received an email. And we are urging people to make those applications early. If those applications are made by the end of July, that will give us an opportunity to process those before enrolment, and they will receive their bus pass and what they need actually at the point of enrolment. So hopefully that incentivises people to get in early. But just to kind of manage expectations, we had to close that fund either the second or third week of term. So that's how popular it is, and that's how limited it is. So please, urge your young person to check their emails. I'm told that their emails are for old people by our students, but that's the way that we communicate these things with our applicants. So please do check in boxes and get the Learner Support Fund application in if you feel that you meet that eligibility criteria. Thanks, Anne.
Okay, thank you very much. Again, to anybody who wants to be able to follow some of these links, I appreciate you can't just click directly on the screen. We will be sharing them later on, but you'll be able to find absolutely everything on the website, just using any of the search terms. So next up, we're going to be talking about supported and inclusive learning. So supported and inclusive learning at Leicester College, it's about providing tailored programs and additional support for learners of all abilities. And with us today is going to be Abby, who's hopefully just going to cover a couple of those and again, answer some of the main questions that you might have about them. So take it away, Abby.
Cool. Thank you very much. So my name's Abby. I work in the supported learning department at Leicester College, and we offer a more kind of intensive support plan for students that have disabilities or additional needs. So our courses vary from students that have very complex needs who might be suited to our Pathway to Fulfilment course, to students that are slightly a bit more independent on our Pathway to Life, and then those that want to kind of get qualifications and work experience on our Pathway to Work and transition courses. I could talk forever about the courses, but I won't. There's some contact details on the next slide, which I'll go through in a minute. But the support that we have in place is a lot more comprehensive because of the level of need of our learners. So we have transition days before college to get you settled in, with meet and greet in the mornings, and at the end of the day, we make sure that your young person can find their bus or their taxi, or parents if they're picking them up, so that they have someone with them all the time and they're not going to be left on their own because they're very vulnerable. We have support in lessons, we have lecturers, and we also have a wider range of SEN specialist learner support workers who are trained to work with students with autism, ADHD, epilepsy, you name it, they can cover it. They are fantastic. They also have access to a learning coach, just like their mainstream peers, and they can check in with them every day. We also cater for students that may require support with their personal care. So maybe they have certain needs around toileting or personal hygiene. We can accommodate that. Also, anything to do with physiotherapy, speech and language plans, any medical care, we can cover that. And we have adapted equipment for students. So our level of support is very, very comprehensive in supported learning. Could I have the next slide, please? And thank you. So here's just some key contacts for supported learning. My email is right at the bottom there. So if you have any questions, I'll stick around at the end if you've got any specific supported learning questions. But if you wanted to email me, or you've logged on today and you're ahead of the game and you're thinking ahead for the future for your young person, you want to come and have a look at what we do, please email me, get in contact. I'm more than happy to show you around so you can see us in action. Thank you.
That's great. Thank you, Abby. This brings us beautifully on to our next point, which is talking about seeing things in action. I'm going to invite my colleague Sharon back just to talk a little bit about something we've been running for a few years now. It's been very, very successful, very popular with students. And again, just allows students who may not want to attend busy public events that opportunity to come in and just give a sort of taster sample of the college, the campus, and some of the things on offer. So Sharon, I'm going to leave you to do the big sell on this one.
Anthony mentioned a little earlier about the evenings that we do put on twice a year for care experience young people. This programme over the summer is really aimed at young people that are in care, students that may have an educational healthcare plan, or students that might be struggling with their mental health, students that might be a little bit worried about coming to college. And the idea is that we can spend some time with them in college to sort of break down those anxieties. So program's been going now for 3 years. This year, we've got the addition of our motor vehicle offer. So we're doing 2 cooking sessions at the Freeman's Park campus. We're doing 2 motor vehicle sessions at the Abbey Park campus. We're also doing game reçu. And we've actually also got an art session at St Margaret's. So there is an email address there, generic email. CEYP stands for Care Experience Young People. So if you had an interest and wanted to know a little bit more about it, please feel free to pop an email on there. We also do Transition into College, which are tours of the college. Again, very small groups on all of the campuses, just to give young people a chance just to come and have a little look. This is a cross-college offer. The actual activities are across the week commencing the 3rd and the 14th of August. Generally, they are really popular, so I would advise getting onto the website and booking your space, but you would have to have applied and been accepted for a course with us for next year. So we look forward to seeing you. Thank you, Anthony.
That's wonderful. Thank you, Sharon. Okay, so probably one of the talk points where we get the most questions, because it's the one that always applies first. It applies to those first steps that people have to take to be able to get in, and that is application and enrolment steps. So for this one, we're going to bring our director back in, the font of knowledge. Zoe, if you take this away for me, thank you.
Thanks, Anne. Thanks again, and I'll try and answer some of the questions that are popping up on the comments as well. So, I mean, hopefully, lots of your young people will be well into the application journey. But essentially, they will either apply through school, through something called PS16, or directly on our website. It doesn't matter which way the application comes into us. We deal with it in exactly the same way. So we will have a look at it to make sure that the young person meets our entry requirements, and they are on our website. On the course pages, so do take a look at those if people are still thinking about applying. We have something called the Learner Hub, which I think Sharon referred to a little bit earlier, and that's essentially the place where all of our application and enrolment activity takes place. So we will send an email to your young person with their details of their Learner Hub, and then everything that we ask them to do subsequently in relation to their application or enrolment will go through there. By now, probably your young person will have attended a welcome event. We don't usually do interviews, but there may be occasions where that's the case. We have auditions for certain programs as well, at Performing Arts, or we might ask for a portfolio. But we will send information in terms of what needs to happen next. So after the welcome event has been attended, if it's mandatory, if it's not mandatory, then we will, that's something that they could choose to do, and then we will send a conditional offer. And again, that is through the Learner Hub, and we would ask that young person accepts the offer. And the reason for that is that so we know he's planning to come to us. It's not they haven't signed on the dotted line, but it just gives us a bit of an indication of the numbers of students that we're going to get for each of those courses or those programmes for the next academic year. In terms of enrolment, and I think there was a question. So if it is a young person, so aged 16 to 19, then we will start to send letters and emails out from the beginning of August, advising when their enrolment slot is going to be. And enrolment starts on the Friday after GCSE results day. So they will know exactly when they need to come into the college and what time and which campus. And then in the week of GCSE Results Day, which is the 20th of August, we will send what we call our Get Ready for College email. And that is just capturing a bit of an update because things may have changed since they first made their application, just asking a few very simple questions to get them ready for their enrolment slot. So they have to do that before they actually walk through the doors for their enrolment appointment. And, upload their GCSE results if they get them, if that's relevant. And then when they come into enrolment, they'll see our curriculum team and then they'll speak to our student services team. And all of the services that you've heard about today will be on hand through that enrolment process. So if you need to talk to our learning support team, they will be there. If you want some advice around our learner support fund, the team will be able to help. And Sharon's wellbeing team will be around as well. So any help or advice that you need through that enrolment process, the student services team will be able to help. There's a question around Launchpad, which is a specific programme that we run here at the college. If you've already had a conversation with our Launchpad team and been accepted on that, we're going to be enrolling early, so the first week in August, and the team will be in touch with anyone who's already been accepted onto Launchpad. Failing that, that will then happen as part of that main enrolment event after GCSE Results Day, which I've previously spoken about. Because Launchpad is by referral only, there isn't an application process as such. So we will enrol as part of that main enrolment process. So hopefully that answers that question. But yeah, any questions at all around enrolment, drop them in the chat. And I think we're going to kind of go to live and try and answer as many as we possibly can. Thanks, Ant.
That's brilliant. Yes, we are indeed. So we're going to jump into some questions now. Thank you so much for all those people that have posted questions and been waiting for an answer patiently. I'm sorry I've not managed to get around to answering as many as I would have liked. But it's lovely that you've all stuck around to come and get them answered now. So I just want to say a quick thank you to everybody. We've got a feedback form there you can see on your screen for the QR code. If there's anything that we've not covered so far that we'd like to learn a little bit more in depth about that we're not going to be able to answer in the FAQs, we'd be happy to hear your suggestions. So please do that. Right, I shall bring everybody back into the call now. So again, I'm going to bring a couple of questions at the side here, guys. Oh, it is just worth mentioning, just off the back of the enrolments and applications, to any parents who have a pre-existing relationship with a careers advisor at your school, we will be sending other information out to the careers advisors at your child's school. So if you are unsure, unable, or would like to speak to somebody that you know first, Independence Leicester College, about any of our enrolment application processes, you should be able to approach your own child's careers advisors, but obviously we would prefer that you come to us as we're the first point of call and can obviously give you any help where and when you need it. So I'm going to bring a couple of the questions now. One of the first ones I saw here, and guys, please feel free just to answer it. So can parents attend the assessments with the students?
So is this if it's the additional learning support assessment?
It is.
Yes. So basically we find that a lot of the new students who come into us, they quite often want the parents involved. So yes, you can attend with the student. There will be some students who either prefer to do it on their own or feel more comfortable on their own, then that's fine too. With the students who are with us currently, a lot of them do prefer to do it on their own, but if they request this parent is involved, then yes, definitely. We're very happy to have parents involved as well.
That's wonderful. Thank you, Annie. Okay, next question. Do PLAC adopted young people have the same access to bursaries as looked after children? Sharon, I'm hoping you've got an answer for me there. Oh, hold on, you've muted yourself. Try that again.
Unfortunately, no, they don't, which it is a shame. Previously looked after children are not entitled to the bursary. However, we are still here to support in every other way, and also those parents, carers of adopted children can still apply to the general bursary, but then wouldn't be entitled to the weekly specific bursary for care experience young people.
Okay, thank you for that. Next question we have here from David Sanders. Do you have trained persons for people with FIPS? So is anybody, I would presume, I think this came up around your slide, Abby. So I would say we have first aiders on hand, everybody who's medically trained, but specifically, I think this is an answer for you.
Yes. So all of our learner support workers in supported learning are epilepsy trained. So if your young person comes to us and they have emergency medication or need support around handling their epilepsy needs, we are trained for that. So yes.
Wonderful.
Good question.
Thank you.
Thank you.
To clarify, funding is only available if at max income, or are they in receipt of support? So I think that's
Yeah, I can probably answer that.
Thank
So
you.
I guess there's a difference between funding and the learner support fund. So in terms of kind of funding for the actual course itself, if the young person is 18 or under on the 31st of August, then that is obviously funded by the government, or it's up to 24 if they have an education, health and care plan. So that's the funding side of things. In terms of the learner support fund, it's either or. So if it's either that maximum household income of £33,000, or if they're in receipt of benefits, and we don't look at the particular circumstances of that student. So they don't need to be in receipt of any other support that we've talked about today to be in receipt of the learner support fund. It's purely based on household income. And I think there was a question about PIP. We don't include PIP as in the household income because it's a non-means tested benefit. So we only take means tested benefits into account. So hopefully I've covered the two.
You've got both there, thank you.
Yeah.
Question here, if student needs to retake maths and English GCSEs, do we offer key skills qualifications instead? Yes, we do. We do functional skills and key skills for somebody they need to retake. Depends on the age of the student, obviously. If they're applying to us.
So, I mean, yeah.
Sorry, you could jump into that. It was a little bit
so
loud.
In terms, yeah, sorry, I think we're cutting out a little bit.
That's all right.
Satellite delay, maybe. The Maths and English team will assess the level of qualification at enrolment, and they will then advise on what the best level is for that student. And one of the things they will also do is take into account what their aspirations are, because if it's a functional skill, maths, for example, that may limit their progression maybe to a level 3 or a T level. So that conversation will be had as part of the enrolment process when they come in and see the curriculum team. And I'll probably just kind of pick up the next one because it's kind of along similar guys. So in terms of after GCSE results day, once they've got their results, they will come in on their enrolment slot. And at that point, both Maths and English teams and the curriculum team will look at those GCSE results and see whether they've met the entry criteria for the programme that they've applied for. If they haven't quite got what they wanted, then we will look at alternatives within that curriculum area. And equally, if they've exceeded what they originally thought that they were going to get, which does happen, they will look at whether they can, if they've applied for a level 1, for example, we will look at, progressing them up to the level 2 at the point of enrolment. So we manage our enrolment really carefully so that, we know how many spaces we've got, we know what our usual intake is. So that's on the basis on which we kind of make those invitations. So it will be at the point of their enrolment slot that we will give that advice and guidance, and you'll know which programme your young person is enrolled on.
Wonderful, thank you. And there was another question from Anisia there, so maybe one, Gail, you could pick up for us. How do we know if my son's secondary school has sent I think that's Form 8 for the exam concessions. So how would a parent know? Presumably we would be in touch with them.
Well, yeah, I think if anything, they can ask. And I think that's the best way, to just actually ask their school, have you been sent it? There has been an agreement with the local authority that they will send it to parents. But if I was a parent, I would double check and ask myself.
That's perfect. Thank you. There's another question which I know has come up before, that students, when they've applied to us, they perhaps haven't mentioned, they've missed off a bit of a form where they perhaps have exam arrangements in place, but they've not included it. What is the best thing to do if a student feels that they've not flagged that up during their application? How are the best to get in touch?
I would say to contact the ALS, that generic email that was there, and then just let us know at that point. It doesn't matter if they've missed it off. The sooner we know, the better. So if they think that they haven't said something in error, they can tell us now.
Yeah, perfect.
And it's kind of important that when they do come, they mention it to their tutors, because basically, although we can record it, we can't influence. So it's the tutors who will make the referrals. So it's really important they know that information. And most tutors do tend to be asking if there's exams, if they've had any exam arrangements. So that's important to get that information across as well. But
Thank you.
if you let us know about, so we know about the Form 8s and stuff, so we can, follow up on that.
Perfect. Thank you, Annie. It's one for you there, Sharon. Can the wellbeing and mental health access be accessed all year round?
Yeah, absolutely. We do have a smaller service in the summer, but there is availability throughout the summer, throughout all the other holidays, apart from the Christmas weeks when the college does close down. There will always be somebody available that any of our students can come and talk to. Fabulous.
Thank you. Just a couple more now. There's one or two more trickling in, but is additional support available outside of the classroom? So that's perhaps one for you there, Annie.
Okay, so it depends on what you mean by outside the classroom. So if it's looking at study skills, so if we're doing assessment with a student and they need some work on their skill development, we can actually do some study skills sessions, and that's outside the classroom. We wouldn't do that within. It's outside lesson time as well, so we don't take them out of lessons to do it. So they we'll find a time in their breaks when they can do it, and the support worker is free as well. If it's to do unstructured time support, then no, we don't do that, because it's a different kind of support in mainstream compared to supported learning. So it just depends on the kind of support you mean.
That's what
Can I just say, from an enrichment perspective, I don't know if I said when my slide was up, but we do various enrichment activities and sports activities as well. So if there are any young people who have got an additional need that want to access those activities, best thing is to talk to our student enrichment team, and we can try and ensure that we make it as accessible as possible.
Wonderful, thank you. Okay, there's one last question here before we call it an afternoon. I don't think it's anybody here who's certainly no representatives directly from Launchpad themselves, but is anybody comfortable in talking a little bit about Launchpad programs? I see a nod in there.
Yeah, I can talk about Launchpad. So Launchpad is part of our foundation learning offer at the college, and we recognise that there are some young people, for a whole variety of reasons, who will come to us without the necessary qualifications to get on the ladder of our vocational courses, even at a level 1. So all sorts of things happen, which means that our young people can't finish their their main education. So Launchpad very much focuses around English and maths skills, and we will ensure that they are enrolled on normally functional skills, and from entry level 3 up to level 2, depending on their how what they come in with. And then they also, alongside that, will study a certificate in creative media and a certificate in employability as well. So it's about really getting our young people ready to learn, getting the required skills. We do a lot around personal development and teamwork and all of those kind of things, which hopefully then eases them into that kind of mainstream college experience. And from 26-27, we're offering a carousel around all of our curriculum areas, so that if they're ready for that, they can go and have a taster in the curriculum area, and actually they can work towards a level 1 certificate in most of those curriculum areas. So it might be engineering or motor vehicle, construction, hair and beauty, health and social care. So we'll give them a real flavour of where they might want to go next in the college, so that when we start to talk about progression, they've got an idea. Actually, I'd really like to go and do a level 1 or a level 2 in motor vehicle, for example. It is referral only. It's not an application, because of the nature. We have to make sure that it's right for that young person, and often they'll come into us at enrolment not having got what they needed, and therefore we will have that conversation with our Launchpad colleagues and refer them into that. And we're also hoping to have later starts as well in the year for that Launchpad provision, for young people who maybe have struggled with going into that kind of mainstream environment in September. So if you've got any, you want to know more about it, get in touch with us, and you can, speak to the Launchpad team, and they can give you a much better overview than I'm able to, because they're the experts.
That's wonderful, thank you. Okay, so I think we've just about reached the end of all the time we have there allocated. So I just want to say a quick thank you to everybody who's join me on the call today. I hope it's been informative for everyone. We appreciate there are so many things to talk about here, and each situation is different depending on the student and application. So hopefully we've managed to just tackle some of the bigger questions there. I'm going to bring up the Supported Inclusive Learning contact page. As I said, we've included a lot of contacts and things throughout the presentation. Hopefully you've managed to catch most of them. Whatever you haven't found, it is all available on our Leicester College website. If you navigate yourself there or go through Google, just simply look at the contact us page and you'll be able to find all of our teams, general inquiries, everything you could hope to find, locate and ask questions for. You should be able to get answers there. So again, thank you to everyone who's joined us. Thank you everyone who's been in the chat. It's been wonderful. We've been answering fantastic questions. Hopefully we've managed to get most of this done for you this evening. So that's it from us. That's it from Leicester College. You will be able to view this again after we end the presentation and the stream. It will be up on YouTube. So if it's helpful to anybody else, you think you know somebody else in the same situation, please send them on to go and have a look and give it a like. Thank you, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Bye-bye.